Every cryptocurrency YouTuber is suffering a problem. In the comments section, scammers pretending to be us are leaving comments saying, hey, if you want some trading advice, if you want access to my broker, if you want this, if you want that, reach out to me on WhatsApp. That is complete bullshit. None of us will ever leave you a number or an email address to contact us in the comment section. It's not needed. Do you know why? Because when you look below a video, there's usually a huge description of the video. And in that description is all of our contact information, our groups, where you can reach us, okay? So when you see those comments in there, make sure you tell that guy to kiss both sides of your ass because it's a scammer. Something else we got to share is me and Crypto Daily decided to set up a podcast. Reason being is we feel like on YouTube, we just can't see everything we want. But we're going to post the videos of our podcast on YouTube, of course, because most of our audience is here as we grow more of an audience in the podcast realm. But make sure you go ahead and subscribe to that channel. I will leave a link to that channel in the description of the video down below because it's going to be me, not some asshole scammer trying to pretend to be me. Okay, so we really got to have a discussion here because right now, when you look at the fear and greed index for Bitcoin, we are in extreme greed right now. Extreme greed. And it seems that the dynamics, the things that have made up the current bull market are not like they were in 2017. Now, the dynamics we're having right now, as far as the biggest purchases of Bitcoin, we've actually seen something like this happen before, but not to this level. And I'm going to get into detail here soon about what I'm talking about. This is just something else, though, that you got to consider and really weigh out to figure out if this current rally that we are actually in right now is truly something to be excited about as far as 2021. Is 2021 going to be the year that we break out to astronomical highs? Or is this just happen to be a time of the year that skilled traders know, right, that the community looks forward to? The community looks forward to the end of the year when it comes to Bitcoin like they look forward to Christmas. You get what I'm saying? They expect gifts. They expect something great and grand to happen. It's the time that they're all going to get rich, be happy, be jolly. So let's talk about what's actually happening right now with the market. So the biggest conversation that's happening is American investors are gobbling up the Bitcoin, the booming Bitcoin. It's Americans buying up Bitcoin. Now, this isn't the first time that we've experienced America having more buying pressure than the rest of the world. But typically, this level of buying pressure comes from Asia. And also, this kind of discrepancy, this kind of a gap between America and Asia as far as buying Bitcoin has never been seen before. It is North American investors who have been the bigger winners in the 165% rally this year. Weekly net inflows of Bitcoin, a proxy for new buyers to platforms serving mostly North American users, have jumped over 7,000 times this year to over 216,000 Bitcoins worth $3.4 billion in mid-November. Data compiled by for Reuters. East Asian exchanges have lost out. Now, there's a lot you can unpackage with this. There's a lot of reasons that you can actually lay out for this. I'm going to say there is one reason that really does stand out to me right now. During the 2016, 2017 boom of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, that was on the tail end of when the Chinese government said, hey, we need to tighten down how much of our money is leaving the country. You see, 2018 was a huge, huge change for Chinese investors. And technically speaking, I mean, you can go back as far as 2016 with this argument when the regulations started rolling out. But during that time period, China was buying everything. Chinese money was leaving the country at insane paces. Now, a lot of people argue that the reason Chinese money was leaving the country during that time period is they didn't have enough confidence in their government and their economy to sustain the newfound wealth that many people found in China. Others suspected that was because it was the Chinese government's way of trying to gain more control around the world, bring back the whole Silk Road initiatives and so on and so forth. But okay, at some point in 2016, it was stated by the Chinese government that they needed to get this under control, that they needed not to let so much money leave the country and invest everywhere else. They needed to invest in their own infrastructure. I know the action was really heavily laid out around 2018. I also know that the United States government made it even more difficult for Chinese investors to spend their money here. So the reason I'm bringing this up up as far as the Asian money goes, because it's typically been China and yes, South Korea that have been the biggest Asian buyers of Bitcoin previously. Okay, so my thought is that the Chinese aren't any less interested in buying Bitcoin right now. I'm wondering if it's even more difficult for them to get that money out of their ecosystem to buy Bitcoin. It may not be anywhere near as easy as it was in the 2016, 2017 time period. But something else to consider is right now with Grayscale, okay? With Grayscale doing what they're doing, and Grayscale being one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the world, and we're seeing more and more financial advisors here in the United States saying, hey, buy Bitcoin. We're starting to see a little bit of a paradigm shift, right? Where Americans almost on a daily basis are being told to buy Bitcoin. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. The power shift, the paradigm shift, it's like, maybe America, North America here in the next year or two will be known as the hub of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and buying pressure. Who knows? I mean, it's just a possibility. But something that doesn't sit right with me is anytime we did see more of an increase of buying pressure in the United States, it almost always also reflected on places like CoinDance, an OTC desk where anyone can go buy Bitcoin from someone else. Their volumes have been doing nothing but decreasing and dropping. Now, when Americans are really buying Bitcoin, it's almost always reflected on local Bitcoins, as you can see here. As you can see, after the last rally we had, the volume kind of decreased. We had some moments where, yes, it did increase, but, I don't know. I don't know. If Americans are buying up Bitcoin right now, it's not the average retail investor. This has got to be more of your accredited investor level of buyers when it comes to Bitcoin. So, I mean, this and it could be a good thing. If that is the case, it could be a very good thing because their method of investing, yes, is to extract the most USD value possible out of the Bitcoin. But their game plans are always very long-term. Accredited investors exercise long-term investing. Very seldom do they play in short terms, high risk. So, I mean, I don't know. I do not know how a financial advisor will guide somebody who buys Bitcoin. I don't know. They say, hey, listen, the end of the year is coming. The entire cryptocurrency retail community gets super excited. Go ahead and buy yourself a couple of bags. And before the year ends, we're going to go ahead and dump. Or I don't know if the narrative is like, listen, good long-term investment. End of the year, people get excited. Beginning of the year is probably going to dump the shit, but don't worry about it because in the next 3 to 5 years, Bitcoin could be worth X amount of dollars. I don't know. I really don't know. I've never had a financial advisor give me advice on how to buy Bitcoin. Now, something to consider, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of traders right now, even fundamentalists right now, that are skeptical about what the price of Bitcoin is doing right now. They're skeptical about the action we're seeing with Bitcoin right now as the price hovers at 19,000. And something to absolutely heavily consider and take into consideration when buying Bitcoin and trying to weigh out what its future is. You have to remember, as this part of the article explains, Bitcoin produces no earnings. It pays no dividends. It pays no interest. So it's not really an investment in the traditional sense. Its value is purely dependent on what someone else is going to pay for it in the future. Okay, and that was said by David Orensky, the CFP and founder of Laminar Wealth of St. Louis. It's very different than investing in stocks, where you are investing in the future earnings and the company that produces goods and services. In addition, investors should research how to actually buy into Bitcoin, withdraw money, as it's not something they can get through a traditional brokerage account. So it's still kind of the Wild West out there. That should scare people that don't know a lot about it. And I agree with him. If you don't know a lot about it, this is not something for you to play in. This is not for someone who's just like, going to say, oh, I did extremely good on the .com boom. I did extremely good with stocks. I can conquer Bitcoin. Oh, hell no, you cannot. Bitcoin will smack you down, make you its bitch really fast. And that's the truth. But what he is saying is absolutely true. Okay, absolutely true. If you look at all the investment models, even gold, okay, even gold, and then you have to think about this. People keep looking at gold as a store of value. Gold is a precious metal that is used for jewelry. Gold is a precious metal that is used for electronics. Gold is even a precious metal that is used for defense projects. Okay, there's a lot of application for things like for gold. Okay, there's a lot of application for it. Therefore, it has more diverse opportunities to grow in value. It has more application. Bitcoin does not have that level of application. It's code, it's invisible, cannot be used. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out to you is, what do you think is the game plan for these institutions when it comes to Bitcoin? Because you got to remember, you cannot use Bitcoin like you can use gold. You won't earn interest. You do not own shares of a company that's going to produce a good or service that will continue to grow, right? It's limited to what someone else will pay for it in the future. There's going to be a point where the average retail investor just simply won't pay a certain price for Bitcoin. You can't use Bitcoin to develop electronics. You can't use it to make jewelry. So I'm asking you, okay, I'm not going to give my thoughts on this yet. Maybe on the podcast that I'm doing daily, I'll give my thoughts, but asking you to give me your thoughts on what does that mean for Bitcoin and what does that mean for its future in regards to how institutions are going to handle all this damn Bitcoin they're holding today. Now, a couple more things I'm going to throw out there on today's video. The S&P Dow Jones indices to launch cryptocurrency indexes in 2021. Yes, they're going to launch through partnerships of company like Luca. They're going to do 550 of the top traded coins, the company said. So that is, in my opinion, really good. I actually think 2021 is going to be one hell of an altcoin market. I don't know about Bitcoin. I really don't know where Bitcoin is going to go, but I can tell you this. Once these indices actually hit, the fact that it's the Wild West, it's unregulated, and the OTC market of altcoins is not as easy to access and nowhere near as robust as what Bitcoin has. So there will be a lot of market buys and a lot of market plays with altcoins that are on these indices, in my opinion. Could be wrong, but that's just my suspicion based off of previous things that I've done some research on when indices were introduced with new markets into Wall Street. So going to be very interesting 2021 to say. Now, one more thing I want to throw in there, LTO network. Check this shit out. Blockchain land registry launches in Afghanistan through UN and LTO network partnership. That's pretty damn massive. I mean, I don't know why more people aren't actually talking about this, but a blockchain-based land registry designed to mitigate ownership disputes in Afghanistan has been launched. The open source solution was developed by blockchain company LTO Network in tandem with 2 United Nations organizations. That is huge. I don't know. I mean, damn, that's real world usage. And I know, yes, this isn't Afghanistan. Yes, I know this isn't like the United States, but damn, this is something that they're doing in partnership with the United Nations in a country that has terrible zoning. So by utilizing blockchain technology to build a land registry database, I mean, that's leaps and bounds. Real world usage to solve a real world problem and to save entities from conflict, to save entities money, creates a healthier ecosystem, makes it easier for the government. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually seen this very thing that LTO is doing actually spread farther through countries in the Middle East, because land registry, land disputes, zoning, surveys, it's a pain in the ass. It's a massive headache in that part of the world. Everyone is always in conflict. But so if you clean it up, introduce some newer technologies, something that can be simplified, something that's on a blockchain so it can never, ever be altered. The integrity of what is out there, the information can never be questioned. I think that is going to, I don't know, it's going to be a game changer in my opinion. And as you may know, this channel partnered with LTO this past summer, and it was right around 4 cents the very first time I made a mention of LTO on this channel and told you guys I had great things in the pipeline. big things coming, and they're up at 12 right now. Yes, they're down currently, but you know what? I can tell you this. They've got more things coming. They have a lot of good news coming. What you saw with Afghanistan and the UN, that is just the tip of the iceberg, my friends. Okay, so listen, that is it. That's all I got for today. I can't think of anything else to talk about. The weekend's coming up. I'm excited to see how the crypto market's going to do this weekend. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.